G'day everyone. I thought I'd do a video rather than going live because I don't really have a lot to say, to be honest. Yeah, it's just been an average Monday. I just wanted to thank everyone who came on for the live when I was out bush. I tried to watch it back, but I couldn't. It wouldn't actually show me a chat. And I think that's because I do the settings incorrectly. As I said, I'm just useless at this technology sometimes. And so I do appreciate everyone who did come on. And I sincerely hope you all enjoyed it. I'd love to do more out there, but I struggle for signal. That's the biggest issue out there. It's actually on the hill, right behind my campsite. So I just climb the hill and sit on the top of the hill and look over the other side of the hill. My campsite, for want of a better way of saying, is around about 2 stories below it, below the ridge line. So signal virtually drops from around about 2 bars of 4G down to 1, and that's generally only if I'm holding the phone up, looking like a bloody idiot. So, it's pretty terrible at camp. And even if I record a video, I normally have to wait until I get home before I actually upload it. Because more often than not, it'll take about 2 or 3 hours to upload it. So trying to do a live out there is, virtually impossible, basically. Except for a few little spots. And one of the spots I'd like to do a live for is right on top where the old windmill used to be, but if the diesel generator kicks in, then I'm stuffed. No one's going to be able to hear anything at all. And there's been a few shorts. There was a few shorts that I recorded quite a while ago where the diesel generator was running so damn loudly that I was nearly yelling, and you could still barely hear me. But that's been a complaint my whole life. Everyone thinks I talk too softly, even though it's as loud as hell in my head. So yeah, I did the live. The camp was already sorted. In fact, it was already all locked up. So once I finished the live, I stood up and realised I had a very wet bum from sitting on the ground, which was pleasant, not. But it was dry by the time I got home, so that was okay. So yeah, I just went back to the car, got in, put the phone in the charger, and then basically drove home. Stopped at shops, grabbed a few bits and pieces because I wanted to do a carbonara, which I still haven't done, but I'll probably do that tomorrow night. And then came back and sat down, the video started, the live started processing, because for some reason lives take, even if it's 16 minutes, they take like 7 hours to process. And again, it's probably my fault. I probably should be shooting it in 4G or 4K or whatever they want to call it these days. And then they transfer it from whatever I'm shooting the video into 4K and then upload it. And then I realised they're all private, so you can't see can't see anything really. I mean, you can listen to it, and I couldn't believe it. It actually did a little bit of a transcript. So that was quite clever. I'm sure they're using AI for that, but I just found that rather interesting. I can actually see a transcript of what I'm saying. And there's a lot of, well, get over it. That's what I do. I don't have a transcript. It's just all coming out of my head. So you'll have to move on from there. yeah, so, and then I grabbed the whippersnipper and got that done, then the lawnmower and got that done. So, and the house was already vacuumed and dusted, so everything's done. All I have to do this coming weekend is probably grab some bacon. I realised I don't have a lot of bacon left. So I'll have to grab some of that, and then I'll probably go out bush. Depending on the weather, of course. I mean, it is winterised, yes. But there is a difference between sitting out there when it's pissing down with rain and sitting here when it's pissing down with rain. So as much as camp is winterised, the timber out there is all absolutely soaked through the bones, so it's going to smoke to high heaven, which is not very pleasant. So, yeah, if it's going to piss down with rain, then I'm not going to go. As much as I absolutely adore it out there, I just, there's common sense at some point or another. And it is going to be a very wet week. So there's not going to be any dry timber out there at all. But it is what it is. Maybe I'll just sit outside and use my fire pit rather than the oven. But I mean, if it's raining, well, there's no point in even lighting anything. And if it's raining and I can't have a fire where I'm not getting smoke inhalation, then I may as well just stay at home. So, and it's going to take a while for it to dry out. And look, some might suggest, why don't you just put a tarp over it? Well, I'm not there for 5 days a week. And if the weather's blowing an absolute gale, that tarp could end up on the other side of South Australia by the time I get back out there, and I'm not going to mess up someone's paddock just to keep a bit of timber dry. It's not going to happen. So there has to be a bit of common sense about, what I do out there. And that's part of sort of going out there, it's as much as I enjoy it, you also have to respect it. And that's the biggest part. So me following farm tracks rather than driving crazily across paddocks, just the really, really simplest things. Just because you've got 30 acres that you could drive across doesn't mean you do. You tend to stick to the farm tracks. You don't drive through whopping great big puddles because that just ruins the track. You drive around them, but you keep to the tracks as much as you possibly can. It's just part of what you do. I mean, you drive through a whopping great big puddle, all you're doing is making the hole bigger. And by the time it dries out, it could damage suspension or do anything. A sheep could break its leg. So you've got to sort of, look after things, basically. Respect the place that you're going to. It's as simple as that. You wouldn't dig a hole in your lounge room. So, why would you damage something out there? It's just the way it is. But yeah, I'll just keep this short tonight. Nothing really that's been going through my head. I have been watching quite a few videos and seen a few lives and things like that, and it does get you thinking. But to be honest with you, it's like I said when I was out there. You look around the paddocks, and a lot of what's going on. I mean, I know they're talking about Iran and the US signing a peace deal, but I mean, you're talking. The Middle East has been a mess for more years than you could poke a stick at. So as to how long it will actually last, and the Israelis are already jumping up and down about it and saying, well, we weren't involved, so screw you. So, as to how long it's actually going to last, not very long, I think. But I could be wrong. It'll be a wait and see. And to be honest with you, it's funny. I mean, where I live, maybe America's different. Maybe the UK is different. Like the UK have got their own problems, and we've all seen it in the news. I don't have to re-explain it all. And if you're not watching mainstream, that's fine. It's been on the alternative everywhere. So, it doesn't really matter where you get your news from. But it's been everywhere. So, the UK just seems to be falling in a great big hole. The US, I don't know. It's clearly getting worse over there. It's clearly getting worse here in Australia. Just cost of living. It's interesting. It's almost laughable watching them go, oh yeah, but the unemployment figures are still really, really good. Yeah, you dickheads, because people are working 2 or 3 jobs now. Hello. So it's the same stuff we were generally talking about 3 years ago. Is the economy crashing? If it is, it's taken us damn time. And we all know it's coming. I'm not silly, I know. But there's, you look outside the front door and it's business as usual. And I swear Australians, to some extent, as compared to the UK or Germany, because I've been watching Survival Lily, clearly they're feeling it in Europe. In the UK, you only have to, like I said, switch on the news. The US, there's more channels out there from the US than I can poke a stick at, and all of them are virtually saying similar things. And yet, here in Australia is like a closed book. There's not a lot of videos, not a lot of channels. Most of the channels from here tend to be, complaining about the fact that Coles and Woolies are charging stupid amounts and it's getting harder to live. Everyone's celebrating that fuel might get cheaper, but fuel compared to the rest of the world is actually pretty cheap. US is way cheaper, so stop complaining about your fuel prices. We pay obscene amounts really compared to what the US does, and the UK is 2.5 times more than what we're paying. So, it's all relative, I guess, to the sort of wages that you get. There's still a lot of people who are sincerely struggling. There was a few carjackings in Australia apparently. I did catch the first 15 minutes of Channel 7's news, but then turned it off because I saw a friend had actually uploaded a video, and I'll always watch his videos. So there was a few carjackings, which is not really usual here in Australia. A couple of armed hold-ups, but they were from like 2003, and they're only showing it now, clearly because of the court cases in regards to, what information they're allowed to show. But otherwise, not much more. I got to be honest with you, in the 15 minutes that I watched the news tonight, and bear in mind, it's an hour-long program, and half an hour of that is made up of the news. So I only saw half the actual news. And I generally only watch it because it's local, because I just don't see anything from South Australia at all online. Because I'm not interested in the mainstream YouTube channels or anything like that, because it's worse than watching the TV. It's like we're under a damn rock half the time, but the funny thing is that actually works for you as well, because you're sort of in the situation where, even though I know exactly what's going on, and I'm not silly, and some of you might be going, well, can't you talk about it? I don't need to. There's like 7 billion channels on YouTube. Just pick one. Watch it. Or there's alternative social media. You know, get on there. Give it a go. You might be shocked. I'm not. I've seen it all before. I've been watching this stuff for 6 years, so nothing on there bothers me anymore. But, you know, if you want to know what's going on, get out there and look at it. You know, don't sit on your armchair wondering, what the hell is he talking about? Mind you, most people won't even be watching this right now, so what's the difference, you know? Like Chance said, you know, most people will come in for about 5 minutes and they'll piss off. Very few people actually watch the whole video anymore. We're so infatuated with, if you're not telling me the information I need to know within the first 30 seconds, I'm finding something else. And really, that's where we've come to. You know, whereas people who go, I already know what's going on. Like, why? Because I actually went out there and had a look. And I actually sat there and watched hour-long videos or hour-and-a-half long videos. Why? Because I wanted to know. And generally, they don't tell you everything in the first 5 minutes. They tell you everything, generally, throughout the video. So I can't even say skip to the end and watch it, because you're still not going to get the information you're looking for. Watch it. Use that brain. Actually sit there and watch the video. Or go and actually spend some time and do stuff. And I get that a lot of people say that they're, oh, no, I just don't have the time. Bullshit. You're watching shorts. I do the same. But I don't need to see everything anymore. All I need is a quick update from a couple of sites and I'm back up to date again. You know, it takes me 5 minutes sometimes to figure things out. I don't need to sit there and look through 168 articles, because it's just the same pile of rubbish over replayed half a dozen times. So, you know, you might watch the occasional video. I've got my regulars that I watch. I watch Canadian Prepper. As soon as he puts a video out, I'll watch the whole damn thing. And I don't care what anyone says about him. You know, I really don't. I watch him simply because, forget about the little thumbnails. He's far more intelligent than that. And you know what? I don't care if he's bloody made millions out of what he's doing. Good on him, as far as I'm concerned. Good on him. You know, oh, he's just pushing his store. Well, sure, if you've got a store and you've got a wide YouTube audience, you're going to push it. You would do the same. So I watch him. I watch Marfoogle News, Marfoogle TV. Adam's a great guy. I've met a lot of incredible people off it. So, you know, I watch that. I watch Neil McCoy Ward. He doesn't do as many videos anymore, but the information he's given over the past 5 or 6 years has been great. And it comes from a very intelligent side of things. So, yeah, I'll always say, you want to find out what's going on, go and have a look. Just go back through his archives, and I can guarantee you will find something in there that you will enjoy watching. And look, there's others that I watch, and then I have a look at Telegram every now and again, and you know, I've been watching all these things for about 5 or 6 years without fail. You know, I might go away for a week and I miss a few videos, but then I catch up when I come back. So, you know, Chance Paladin, great content. You know, very, very intelligent bloke. Yeah, I've got a good deal of respect for him. So if you want to go and have a listen to something which, you know, tweaks your interest, see what you think. And watch the whole video. Don't just get on there and say hi, because he gets pissed off at that. And I understand why. So, and there's a lot of other people out there who put out really good content. And they're genuine people, and they will genuinely comment back, and they will say hello. So, and to me, that's worth a lot. So, yeah. But I mean, Australians, you would, I don't know. There's like, I'm pretty sure behind closed doors it's a different story, but sure as shit, not too many people are making the sort of content that you're seeing coming from overseas. And maybe it's just a different mindset. But I sort of get the feeling that there's just no fear. It's like, she'll be right, mate, sort of situation. And to be honest with you, I think publicly that is still the case. Privately, there's a lot of people hurting in a very, very big way. And it's funny, you'll see the comments, I don't know why Australia doesn't get out there and protest. I got to be honest with you, I don't think anyone really cares. I think that's probably half the problem. It's like the blind leading the blind half the time, and it's, the UK, you've seen the protests in the UK, you've seen the protests in Ireland and all the other places. Haven't really seen a lot of protests in the US, other than what they want you to protest about, that, skin colour, and then, whether you're gay or not, and if that doesn't sound like WEF stuff, I don't know what does. So, you figure out whether it's a real protest or not. I don't think it is. There were the ICE protests, but, I'm not going to make a comment on that. I've got my own thoughts about that. I don't need to say anything. So, yeah. This was only meant to be a short video, wasn't it? I think I might shut up shop and turn this off. But one thing I will say, and I've said it many times on videos and everything else, I think sometimes people need to see life for what it is, to get out into places where none of it matters. And it brings a whole new perspective on it all. I'm not saying it's going away. I'm not saying that you're putting it away. What I'm saying is you need to refresh. Instead of, and they often say to the group is, don't live in fear. We don't live in fear. I think a lot of people do. I really do. And I think there's certain levels associated with it. You'll get the hardcore ones, then you'll get the mid ones, and then you'll get the ones that sort of poke their nose up every now and again just to see what's going on and to feel like they're part of a group. Yeah, I don't know. You sort of look at this stuff for 6 years in a row. And like I've said before, my camp spot is for my enjoyment more than anything else. I enjoy going out there. I enjoy cooking breakfast in the morning. I enjoy sleeping in a tent. I've been doing it way longer than 6 years. I was doing it on my own in my mid-20s, and I'm still doing it at 54. So it's not going to change. Until the day that I can't actually get out there physically, I will go out there. So no matter what happens, I built that campsite because I actually like going out there. You know, I get a lot from it. Yes, it's just a paddock. And I've heard it called that. It's just a paddock. There's no water. There's no power. You know, all this sort of thing. I have heard that over and over and over again. It's not just a paddock to me. It's not just a bunch of trees. It's something that actually hits me quite hard. And I absolutely bloody love it out there. And I cannot explain that any more realistically. It means that much to me. You know, it's not just, oh, we'll get out there, we'll go spotlighting, we'll cruise around on our motorbikes and woohoo, you know, go around and, you know, oh, go up that hill in a four-wheel drive. I've been there, done that, and I still go out there. That should tell everybody anything they want to know about me. I go out there and most of the time I just sit there and just watch the clouds go by. Watch the trees sway, listen to the birds sing, you know, just relax. And then at night, when the entire universe comes out and says hello, you can't help but watch it. You can't help but just stand there and gaze for hours and hours and hours on end. And I've done it, you know, more times than I can poke a stick at. And I've said it before, it's the greatest show on the planet. And so if you ever get the chance to experience it, so if you've never done it, find a place, grab a tent, go out for a night, enjoy it. You know, find somewhere that's nice and quiet, where you feel safe, and enjoy it, even if it's for a night. You know, I can assure you, you will become so damn addicted to it, because what it does is it refreshes you, it restarts you, and it gives you, I suppose, another view on the way life is meant to be. You know, just enjoying things for what they are, accepting things for what they are, because none of it gives a shit about what life is doing right now to most of you. I mean, it really doesn't care. All it ever asks for is respect, that you respect it, and it will give you so much more. It'll give it to you in spades. It'll give it to you to the point where you can't explain what's happening to you, because it hits you hard. And it has to be good for you. Seriously. I'm going to go. So much for a short video. And maybe I'll go live tomorrow. I'll catch you then. See ya.